With my homage to the Triple Gem and ask permission from Venerable Ajahn Anan and all the monks in order to say some words on Dhamma and give my blessings to all of you gathered here. So now is the time that we come to practice the Dhamma, and it's a time that we are listening to Dhamma. And listening to Dhamma is important. It helps us to understand the way how we practice the Dhamma. So may you be determined to listen about the way that we practice the Dhamma. And today I want to talk about a Dhamma topic that is very important, and that is about mindfulness, sati, and about wisdom. But especially we'll be talking about sati, mindfulness. So mindfulness and wisdom is a very important Dhamma qualities. And someone who has mindfulness and wisdom, who's imbued with these qualities, then in anything that they learn and study, in any of their various work and activities, they will succeed in that very well. In their families, if they have mindfulness and wisdom, then they can take the family members in a good way. There's warmth in the family, there's no disputes, and there's no problems arising in that family unit. And if one has mindfulness and wisdom, one is able to look after the health of the body, to make sure the body is in a good state, and also knows how to look after the health of the mind as well, to be in a good state. So this mindfulness and wisdom will also be of benefit to society and the world around us, because we'll provide peace and happiness to others. So we've heard about these qualities of mindfulness and wisdom for a long time already, and we will learn about them, and we can notice then in the world, then why is there problems and troubles arising in society around the world, a lot of chaos arising. Why is there problems in work, in our families, of the health of our bodies and minds? We can notice that people of this present day, they tend to have problems with their mind, or there's an increasing amount of mental issues that the mind's unable to be in an ordinary state. And some people experiencing depression even. And so there's problems arising within society and the world, and it's causing a lot of troubles and chaos. And to the extent there may be even wars breaking out, or even problems that affecting the environment around us, like we can see today. And so there are problems, like I've said, is because that we may understand about mindfulness and wisdom, but the problem is it doesn't arise in time, or it's not quick enough. And so when there are problems arising, and our mindfulness just isn't able to come up, it's not able to take control of the situation or the issue that we're facing, so that problems and issues don't arise, or if they have arisen, then we're able to lessen it or overcome it completely. Basically, we're not able to all this mindfulness and wisdom to come back to us, to arise in the mind in time. And this is because of not having trained these qualities enough. And this mindfulness and wisdom has to come up quickly, has to be very fluent and very strong, and be able to come up when we require it. And so it's because of this that we come to train in the way that we're doing, come on a retreat, in order for us to build mindfulness, to build our samadhi, concentration, and our wisdom to be better, to arise. And we are practicing to develop it more than we currently have. And this is why we come to a retreat like this, in order to improve our faculties. So, in the beginning, I will talk a bit about wisdom and how this connects to sati mindfulness, and then talk and explain more about mindfulness. And this quality of wisdom is what the Buddha praised as being the ultimate, because developing wisdom from the beginning levels all the way to the highest ultimate levels, it can take one to go beyond the cycle of birth and death of samsara, and to abandon all the kilesas and mental defilements. And this all requires wisdom. And so this is why wisdom is so important. Wisdom, according to what the Buddha taught, is uh, has its levels. And the first level of wisdom is this understanding that we have currently. We know how to earn a living, to get by in this world. And it's the wisdom that is able to develop technologies, to learn and to practice occupations, and to grow and have material development. So basically, wisdom on this level is about knowing how to earn a living or how to get by in this world. So here, this type of wisdom is about earning a living, developing technologies, leading occupations. But this wisdom has a quality of not harming others, not cheating, not trying to um, be hostile and harm and hurt others in order to get what you want. So it basically is not using our intelligence in order to get the better of other people, because that isn't wisdom, but that is the kilesas, that's the defilements. And so that type of defilements are cheating others, taking advantage of others, so that it causes so much problems and chaos to others. So this next level of wisdom is something we want to emphasize, because if one can develop this level of wisdom, then one won't have problems arise in society, in one's family and occupations. And this is a higher level of wisdom, and it will lead to, sorry, the higher level of wisdom. So the wisdom on this level is the wisdom that's able to separate out merit and uh, demerit, skillfulness and unskillfulness, good and bad, and right and wrong. So it knows that the actions one takes, or the speech, what one shouldn't should say, what one shouldn't say, what one should act on, what one shouldn't act on. And this is the wisdom that's able to also separate out the states of mind, that knows when the mind is in a state of skillfulness or goodness, or a state of unskillfulness or in a bad state. So this is a very important wisdom, and this wisdom also has results in that it uh, promotes the higher levels of wisdom as well, to the levels of jhanas, insight, knowledges, and there's the promotes the wisdom of the higher levels that is able to see into the impermanent unsatisfactoriness and not self, and see into the Four Noble Truths, and to the level that one's able to attain to the paths and fruits of Nibbana. And so all these attainments, they require this type of, or this level of wisdom as our foundation in order to get there. So this also is the cause, or this level of wisdom is also the cause that promotes our mindfulness as well. It makes our mindfulness to be able to work well and do its job, and we can use it well when we have this level of wisdom. And the next level of wisdom is the wisdom that can take one's mind to gain samadhi, to gain the jhanas, absorptions. It's the wisdom that one is able then to see into the three characteristics of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and not self, which we call the vipassana wisdom. And this is this level of wisdom. And the next level of wisdom is the what we call vijja and jnana, so insight. Or this vijja and jnana is a name for wisdom. And so this vijja is talking about the three knowledges, and then it also is uh, this on this level. It's also referring to the six abhinyas, which is this not special knowledges, such as remembering past lives, or knowing where uh, beings will be born, will arise in. This is this level of wisdom. And then the most highest supreme level of wisdom is the wisdom that's able to see into the Four Noble Truths. And this is a wisdom that we call Aranya Marga, the noble path. And it's when it arises, then it's able to abandon the defilements, and one attains to the Dhamma, being an Arya, being a noble being of the levels from Sotapanna, stream entry, all the way to Arahantship. And so this is the wisdom in the noble path or Arya Magga, and it frees or liberates one from all suffering according to its levels. And this is the wisdom that's able to abandon defilements. And so we'll only explain about wisdom just this much, and then we'll talk about mindfulness or sati as this important quality. And so, what is sati like? How is it connected to wisdom? What is sati's duty? When it arises, then what is that like? And what is it? What duty does it serve when it arises? So we can notice then when mindfulness or sati arises, then it fulfills two duties. And the first duty is that when it arises, and it stops us. It stops us from going to things that will cause us suffering, things that will lead to hot states of mind or troubles. And it stops us from going out to those directions, to all the bad things, the akusala, the unskillful. It doesn't let us do that. It doesn't let us speak in those bad ways. It's able to stop our minds from going out in that way, or going out to those objects that like that. It is able to stop all the unskillful states of mind from arising. So this is when mindfulness arises. It helps us to in this way. So what I'm talking about is sati, mindfulness. And so for one who this sati arises quickly, then they may drift off into other thoughts for a short time, or they mm, get drowsy or nod off for a short time. But then there's this thing telling them to be aware, and it tells them to come back to the meditation object. If this happens just after a short time, then this means that one's mindfulness is coming up quickly. But for someone who it comes up very slowly, maybe they're off in thinking for a long time, maybe nodding off for a long time, until this knowing comes back to tell us to come back to the meditation object. Or maybe one has fallen asleep, one is not aware at all of the body and mind for a long time. This means that one's mindfulness comes up slowly. And so that's a duty, or the first duty of mindfulness. The second duty of mindfulness is that when this mindfulness arises, then it pulls us to things that are of value, of benefit, that are of skillfulness, of goodness, things that will develop and improve us. It pulls us into a good way. And so it does its duty like this. And it helps us to do our work and duties in a good way. It pulls our mind in order to, uh, it pulls our mind towards merit and goodness. So in meditation practice, then we can see the workings of mindfulness happening like this. So if the mind goes out to something outside of one's meditation object, or one isn't aware of one's body, or the subject one's contemplating, then it's telling us to go back to the meditation object, to go back to this awareness of the body. And it tells us to be with the in and out breath, be with the metta, the spreading of metta, or with our chanting, the verse that we're chanting at that time, or the meditation repetition. It tells us to be aware of the body, the movement of the body, being aware of it. It keeps us with this body and mind. And so this, if there is this working of mindfulness in this way, that it's pulling us like this, then it means that our mindfulness is working. So to have this mindfulness working like this, then we need to have wisdom as its basis. There's the wisdom that is able to separate out the merit and demerit, skillfulness and unskillfulness, what one should or shouldn't do or speak. It's able to separate out this well. And so if it's able to, and this wisdom is able to do this, then this promotes our mindfulness, that it stops us from going to things that will be of danger and blame to us. And it takes us to go to things that are of value and are good to us. So because of the time constraints in this session, then won't be able to fully explain more about this. But we'll say a little bit about the mm, methods that we need to know to have the wisdom to separate out between merit, demerit, skillfulness, and unskillfulness. And we will have learnt it before, but it's important that we are able to separate out different mind states. And before we can separate out things of mind states, we need to know about our actions and speech. First, we know that our wisdom and mindfulness is working on this level. So this is seeing about skillfulness and unskillfulness, and our mindfulness and wisdom is working on this level. So this unskillfulness or akusala is referring to body, and the body actions such as killing living beings, harming life of others, not having metta, goodwill. On the other side, the kusala side is having metta, goodwill, having compassion to others, other living beings, to help and assist others. And on the akusala side of the bodily, of the body is taking what's not yours, cheating others. This is akusala. And on the other side of the kusala is of generosity, sharing to others. So in conclusion, or in uh, to leave you with is, may your mindfulness grow. May you promote your mindfulness to be at a good level. May you learn about separating out merit, demerit, skillfulness, unskillfulness. May you be able to separate that out better. May you develop in the satipatthanas, the foundations of mindfulness of the body, feelings, mind and mind objects, so that you can improve your mindfulness, and may you all grow in your practice of the Dhamma.